Morning everyone. I'm going to talk today about the learning curve of eating or learning how to eat. On this plan I work with you and I don't tell you what to eat, we learn what to eat that works for you. Look back in your life and look at anything you've learned. A language, learn to drive, exams for your profession, and you had to go through the process of getting the information, learning it, putting it into the practical use, and then getting it right. And along those ways, you would have probably made a mistake. Well, definitely made a mistake. Yeah, on anything. No one just learns stuff. Well, you'd have to be a genius, right? But then, do you think, right? So on those times, you know, you get it right. You think, oh, I don't do it anymore. I don't do it anymore. And then you did everything you possibly could to mess up what had brought you to that place in your learning curve. And that's what happens with food, right? So just say you know you're eating your thing, you come off plan just a tiny bit. So you know you think, oh, you just get caught. One of my clients the other day, she had a terrible time, man. She's been doing really well. I've been working with her. I'm so impressed with everything she's done. 'Cause it's more of a psychological battle for her. And then she disappeared for a day, and I'm like, oh no, here we go. And then she messaged, oh, I'm really sorry, Ben. I was having such a good day. I got my walk in. I drank loads of water, and then I got talking to my neighbours because you know people were out. I think it was after the clap the first day, yeah. And she said, and then someone offered me a drink, and I had a glass of wine, and then I had a bit of a Chinese takeaway, and I just thought, oh, I've messed everything up. You know, then I went, you know, blah, blah, and then the following day I woke up, I just felt terrible, so I just couldn't be bothered. And I'm like, hold on. So basically, you had a nice evening. I went, what? I said, we've been on plan, we're on a good run at the moment, do you know what I mean? And then like, all of a sudden, someone out of the blue says, do you want a drink? And you go, yeah, I'd really like a drink. And then you sit and you have a bit of fun, go, oh, we're going to order a bit of a takeaway, do you want some? And you go, yeah, it's good. Like, hey, like, that sounds like a really good evening to me. And she's destroyed herself for it, you know? I mean, like, it's like, say you got, remember essays at school, you know, and you've got to do 500 words and you're just rambling on to try and get that word count. And so you get to the last bit, or you're doing really well and you just mess up one sentence, or you get a tiny bit wrong and you think, oh, mate, and you throw it away. You know, you're on word 380 and you've just made a little mistake, right? You'd never do that in a million years. Of course you would. You just go back, have a look, rectify what was put and sort it out. That doesn't happen with food for some reason. There's such an emotional reaction to it. Also, as well, there's the denial bit. You know, people, I want this so bad. They end up concentrating so much on the weight they don't actually stick to plan. Yeah, and then they get on the scales. They're like, oh, you know, and then they explain, oh God, I want. I said, well, you kind of wanted that bad because you haven't followed it. Concentrate on learning, on the learning bit, and everything will take care of it. If you've got an exam coming up, yeah, and you learn everything for the exam, you are then more than likely going to pass the exam. If you just concentrate on the result of the exam and get a bit, well, oh no, and then you just mess up all your plans for that and you concentrate on the exam, you're going to go into that exam and you're not going to do as well. Learning how to eat is no different. It's no different, yeah? It's the little building blocks. It's if you learn how to speak a different language. You know, you start with just the words, then the verbs, and you learn how to conjugate the verbs, and then so on and so forth. You start with, you know, really tiny bits of conversation, and you make millions of mistakes, and you have to make mistakes to learn. Yeah, you know, you can't just breeze in. It's you know. Also, as well, the term mistake in food is demonised in maybe you eating foods that are deemed as like shit foods or things like that. Where for me, you know, that it's not a mistake for me. Like I'll eat as as well as I can during the week. We're working. I'll do whatever exercise that suits me for my age and all that. And then at the weekend I might have a couple of beers and a pizza. Yeah, and like that's not a mistake. That was my choice that I went for, and I thought, oh, mate, I'm dying for one. I've such a I've been on plan a week. I've done all right. I'm going to enjoy that. It's not a mistake. You haven't messed up by having a life. Yeah. Also, as well, like the weekly thing. Remember, I've said this loads of times. The body doesn't know what 7 days is. Yeah. We only track it just so we know you're not going in the right direction. And if you have a bad week, it's not a bad life. Yeah. You just say, oh no, look, this week didn't really go to plan, but I did everything I could. I didn't write it off. You know, you can't just write a whole day off of food. You can't just write a week off of food. Start again Monday. You'll never, if that's your frame of mind, you'll never progress. And if that's how you attack anything you try to do, you'll never progress in that. You need a methodical approach. Yeah, you're gonna hit speed bumps. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have things you say, yep, fine. And when you accept that, yeah, you will continue to go. And if you hit a wall, go back, hit a wall, go back, yeah, and you're making the same mistakes. Just learn from it. Don't beat yourself up either, man. Just like, it's a mistake, yeah? It's a mistake. You know, if you have a pizza, don't feel guilty for it, okay? Just make sure you're doing all the right things to enjoy that food. Remember, if you start a food plan, you just look at it as, hold on, I'm learning how to do this. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, man, yeah? Just say, look, I'm investing in myself. My health is my wealth. Never been a more prevalent time in that saying, yeah? Your health is your wealth, yeah? It can be your safety barrier. And you think, oh, I'm not just going to go from there to there. You know, you don't just pop into college and leave with a degree. You've got to graft at it. You've got to work at it. You've got to, you do the right things, and the people that are going to help you along the way are going to, they're there for you and rooting for you. No one wants you to fail. And if there are people around you that want you to fail, then you need to ask them, why do you want me to fail? We know when people are waving at McDonald's and, oh, have one of these, have one of it, but you're trying to, oh, hold on, I don't want one of them, and they take it upon themselves to really force it on you. And you go, hold on a minute, why do you want me to fail? Like, imagine if you had studied for 3 years and you were standing outside an exam hall and that same person's going, oh, mate, no, you've done all that wrong, and they're giving you the wrong answers. That's exactly the same as what they're doing when they're trying to make you fail on your plan. Okay? Listen, learn it and love it. Learn it and love it. And embrace the mistakes, because if you embrace a mistake, I promise you'll learn a lot more than it, and just punish and kill yourself over it, okay? Have the best day. The sun is shining, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.